Hey guys, I know we said this month's faculty meeting would be digital and email, but I would just hate to deprive some of you from getting to hear my voice this month. So I thought I'd also just go through the agenda real quick and give you a video option. So here we go. If you've got the agenda, just follow along. First up, the finals week schedule. Nothing has changed, so that link is still there. It is going to be by content. Nothing has changed since the last time we went over that. I will blast that link out to parents and students sometime this week. And they should all have that to use for their convenience here and to plan when they take those finals. Attendance appeals, those will be tomorrow or Thursday, depending on when you hear this. Um, I'd like to proudly say I think that this year attendance in this one aspect at least has gotten a lot better. Last year at this time we handed out 16 attendance appeals. That is 16 students that missed more than 8 days. And this year we only handed out 6. So in that aspect, attendance has gotten significantly better. So that is something to be proud of, and that's great. We'll see how many of those get turned back in and what the committee decides on that. Again, that'll be Thursday after school. At IXL, please continue to use that. Again, we have that pilot, and glad that we have the pilot. I'm not sure exactly what that program costs, but I'm sure it's not cheap. As you continue to use that, please kind of store that feedback in the back of your brain. At some point we are going to have to ask for that and decide if all of the positive things that I am hearing are worth the cost. So we'll put those two things together a little bit later on. Mrs. Kern has emailed out the schedule change, this process for schedule changes. Please take a look at that email and those details in the new schedule, the master schedule with the classes that are blacked out. Please take a look at that and kind of try to answer any of those questions that you can during seminar to help take some of the load off of Mrs. Kern. Obviously, if it's a complicated situation or you just truly don't know the answer, Mrs. Kern is still the best person to send that student to. And in that case, just have them email her, or they can use her scheduling QR code hanging up on the bulletin board. The PDC presenters, for those of you that went to a PDC paid professional development, please plan on giving us that feedback or that give us that presentation next month in January, not this month. We'll go ahead obviously and not make you do that via email here. Same thing with the AI tip of the month. So something we're going to try and add to. We have voted Mrs. Callahan to be our resident AI guru and expert, and so she has agreed to kind of be that person, at least somewhat informally at least. And so she's going to try and help us to stay on top of this new thing and not get behind as educators. So one of the things she's going to do is help during the faculty meetings, or just try to give us a quick tip of either how we could be using it as professionals and as adults ourselves, or maybe things we should look for and watch out for that students might be using. So that we'll get that done in January as well. Our inclement weather procedures, make sure you know what those are, especially you new teachers. We will blast them out. We will, if we have a snow day or an inclement weather day, we will blast that information out like we do everything else. So hopefully you're getting those messages. But also make sure that you have our CoalCamp app, and we will blast out via the notifications on that app as well. So make sure you have that app downloaded, and encourage parents to do the same. Speaking of inclement weather, we will be utilizing AMI days again this year. So a couple things that we need to talk about AMI days. It does not look like we have any inclement weather coming before the break. So while it is not imperative that you get this figured out before the break, I would suggest going ahead and figuring out at least your method of delivery. Are you going to use Google Classroom? Are you going to hand them a packet of paper? Those are the two big options, the two best options. If you're going to use Google Classroom, please make sure that every student has logged into Google Classroom and knows exactly what to do at this point in the year. If you're going to use Google Classroom, I sure hope you've done it more than just for the AMI day. So just double check and make sure every student has done that. Maybe just have them do a little a short assignment in class to make sure that they know how to use Google Classroom, and so that you can have some evidence too and say, no, I know they know how to use Google Classroom, they just chose not to do that assignment, right? If you're going to use a paper packet, that's a little bit more challenging, and I would hate for you to the day before the AMI if we find out that tomorrow's going to be an AMI day. I know that happened at least once last year, and everybody's running around at 1 o'clock trying to make copies. So that's not the best the best practice. So if you are going to use paper packets, there's nothing wrong with that, but I would encourage you to find an assignment that is something that you can have ready to go. Maybe it's not the exact thing that you were planning on doing on that day, right? It's something generic but does apply to your content. Speaking of IXL, we'll go back a minute. That might be a great AMI day to just have students spend 30 minutes on IXL. So that's something that we should definitely try to look into. I'd encourage you to go ahead and have at least 2 days of AMI work, at least thought through what are you going to use. Maybe not the exact assignment, but again, have some of those general outlines figured out now, so you don't have to get that all figured out in a hurry when we need it. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here with attendance, but we have got to have attendance done early, and especially first hour, and accurately. So for a while it was that attendance was not being taken. Now attendance is being taken, but we're finding multiple errors throughout the day where some teachers are counting the same student present and other hours are absent. And when we do some checking, it's just a simple mistake sometimes, but when we're talking about half a dozen mistakes a day, that's a lot of chasing down students that really shouldn't be happening. So I need everyone to spend a little bit of time and get attendance done accurately, and especially first hour done before 8:30. Just make it a habit to be the first thing you do every hour. Upcoming dates. We're getting to the end here. Upcoming dates. The music concert is on the 11th. The high school music concert. Our company Christmas party, school Christmas party, is on the 13th. So I hope you can join us there. If you did not RSVP, I guess I would tell you to go talk to Miss Stacy Denny and plead your case, and hopefully we might still be able to find you an extra chair. The snow dance is on the 14th. It's a great time to build relationships with kids and see them in a different atmosphere. You get to see them not in sweatpants. It is semi-formal, and it's always a good time just to see them interact with each other and get to see them in a different, like I said, different atmosphere. And we're always looking for chaperones. So if you want to come help chaperone and just keep an eye on kids, we appreciate that too. Board meeting is the 17th. If you have any kind of positive things that we need to know about and share with our board, please send those to Mrs. Tinney and we'll get them on the list. If there's anything else that I need to make sure that the board is aware, send that to me as well, and make sure that I know, and I'll pass that along. And then finally we get to the 20th, and on the 20th it's our early out, but it's also our student council is sponsoring that Christmas class clash bash again, and we'll get out more information when that comes. And then I guess lastly, at that point, we're heading off to the break. But before we get there, don't forget about our December fun days. So starting on the 6th is our taco carry-in, our staff taco carry-in. So let's participate in that and end this last couple weeks, end it with a fun way to end it. So hopefully that got you through the agenda, and glad you got to hear my voice.